Hey, welcome to this week's episode of the Jump In Podcast with me, your host, Coach John Thomas. And I just want to start by acknowledging that I know I'm a day late in producing this week's episode. And it's largely due, if you can hear my voice, I'm recovering from this cold that, I suspect my daughter may have passed on to me this week. Now, I can't confirm it. She won't accept it. She won't, take responsibility, but I'm pretty sure, right? So I did what I needed to do to rest and recuperate all day yesterday, just so I could do the show without too many problems. So if you hear a little scratchiness or nasally, I apologize in advance to the user watching and listening, and my voice sounds that way. But it was just I was looking, really forward to getting back in the studio and sharing the information that we're all committed to making available to all of you. And for those of you who don't know, I just started this podcast journey back in January. And when I started the journey, I created created with the intention that it would help those of you who listen to deal with challenges that people like you and I face on a daily basis, right? In wanting to, live powerfully, achieve our desired results when it comes to our goals and our dreams, not just for our personal lives, but our careers, our relationships, both personally and professionally. Podcast is also designed for, as a platform for me to share how those things that I've chosen to take on are working out for me, and hold me, accountable for the things that I said I wanted to achieve and the desired results that I want for both myself professionally and personally. And it's just one of the many structures that I've established, that supports that. And I have an ongoing desire to live my life without stress and overwhelm present. So today, I'm going to share with all of you the tips and tools that are beneficial in creative and effective ways to, build a life without being overwhelmed. And so I'll be sharing and discussing in detail the 10 tips, to help you stop feeling overwhelmed with what you're dealing with in your life. Now, feeling overwhelmed is a common experience in today's fast-paced and demanding world. The constant juggling of our responsibilities, people creating endless to-do lists, and the pressure to meet deadlines in both professional and personal life can easily leave many of us feeling stressed and overloaded. So, why do you feel overwhelmed? Well, you might feel overwhelmed, because it's often due to high stress from juggling too many tasks, having, tight deadlines placed on you, or facing personal challenges, or enduring constant pressure. It can result from poor time management, high expectations, and a lack of emotional and physical exhaustion. So, what are some of the factors that can contribute to you feeling overwhelmed? Well, one of the common experience that we have, it can be caused by various number of factors, right? First of all, this feeling can come when you have way too many responsibilities. Juggling multiple responsibilities such as work, your family, personal commitments can lead to you feeling overwhelmed. And the constant pressure to meet deadlines and fulfill those obligations can take a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. Another reason is lack of control. When you feel like you have no control over your life, it can be easy to become overwhelmed. Now, this can be due to external factors like a demanding job or, unexpected life changes, or it can stem from internal factors like self-doubt or difficulty making decisions. High expectations and striving for perfection can also lead to stress, anxiety, and feelings of inadequacy. It's making it real difficult for people to meet these self-imposed standards. Stressful life events, including your major transitions like moving or changing jobs, or if you experience a loss, they can also trigger overwhelm due to significant changes that they bring in your routine and your responsibilities. Another factor is underlying mental health conditions such as anxiety and depression. If you suffer from those things, it can further impact your ability to cope with stress, affecting your mood, your energy levels, and daily task management. Sensory overload from excessive stimuli like noise or technology can be overwhelming, especially for those with sensory processing sensitivities. A lack of effective coping skills can make it challenging to handle stress and overwhelm, leading to potentially unhealthy behaviors. So, our goal in this conversation today is to help you deal with that effectively. Now, similarly, if you create unrealistic time management expectations, that can also contribute to your feeling of being overwhelmed, as can communication difficulties, which increase the likelihood of misunderstandings and unmet expectations. And the last thing I'll share, could be a considered factor, is a lack of support from fans, family, therapists. That can also make it harder to manage stress and develop coping strategies. Having someone to talk to and share your burdens with can be crucial in managing these feelings. Now, what are some of the signs that you might be feeling overwhelmed? Well, feeling overwhelmed can manifest in various ways, as I've shared. It can affect your emotional, your physical, and your cognitive well-being. Now, some signs that you might be feeling overwhelmed in those three areas of emotional, physical, and cognitive. Well, when it comes to your emotional, when you're experiencing emotional overwhelm, several signs can manifest. You can find yourself becoming easily irritated, frustrated, or anxious, reflecting a state of moodiness and irritability. When you have this type of emotional turbulence, it's often accompanied by a sense of hopelessness and helplessness. And where you might feel as though you're drowning in responsibilities and unable to cope with the demands placed upon you. And additionally, low self-esteem and self-doubt are also common, leading you to question your abilities and your feeling of inadequacy start in handling situations. And all of this can further exacerbate the overwhelm, as you may also find it challenging to make decisions. The difficulty in decision making often stems from people overthinking and feeling overwhelmed by the options and the potential outcomes, making even the simple choices seem daunting. When you experience physical signs of overwhelm, that can manifest also in various ways. Persistent tiredness is common, where you may feel fatigued and exhausted, even if you've had sufficient sleep. Now, often it's a result of continuous stress and mental strain. Now, this state of overwhelm can also lead to physical symptoms showing up in your lives, like headaches, muscle tension, and various aches. These are all reactions to the stress hormones in your body. Changes in your appetite are also another indicator. So where you might find yourself either overeating or undereating as a coping mechanism for dealing with the stress or emotional upheaval. And, additionally, sleep disturbances are a significant sign. It's often characterized, I tell people, by, your difficulty in falling asleep or staying asleep when you do. You might have racing thoughts and anxiety during the night, and that can also disrupt your sleep patterns. And that all contributes to the overall sense of you being overwhelmed. And in the cognitive overwhelm, that presents itself in several signs. And one of the most common is difficulty concentrating and focusing. You might find yourself struggling to stay focused on tasks, remembering details or making decisions, all due to your mental overload. Now, along with all of this, right, your mind might even go blank or even feel foggy. You have a challenge to think clearly or process information or come to decisions. Another sign is procrastination and avoidance. When you're overwhelmed, you might tend to put off tasks that avoid dealing with responsibilities, feeling unable to tackle them. And this is often accompanied by decision fatigue, where you feel drained and find it difficult to make even the minor decisions you need to make, regardless of their complexity. Now, these signs collectively indicate a state of cognitive overload, significantly impacting your ability to function effectively. Now, what are some of the negative effects of feeling overwhelmed? Feeling overwhelmed can have a significant negative impact on your overall well-being, affecting, like I said, your mental, your physical, and your emotional health. So I'll just share with you some of the potential consequences of feeling overwhelmed in those three areas of mental, physical, and emotional. Some of the consequences in your mental effects of feeling overwhelmed are diverse and impactful. When you're overwhelmed in the mental, it's common to experience stress and anxiety, which can manifest as restlessness, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. This state of mind can even exacerbate any existing anxiety disorders you may have, intensifying their symptoms. Another significant effect is on your self-esteem. Feeling overwhelmed can erode your confidence, leading to doubts about your abilities and a decrease in your self-worth. And this often results in uncomfortable feelings of inadequacy and discouragement, as you might find yourself questioning your capability to handle situations effectively. Procrastination and indecision are also common when you're feeling overwhelmed. The difficulty in making decisions and then taking actions can lead you to procrastinate, delaying important tasks until the last minute and adding to the psychological stress. And additionally, when you're being overwhelmed, being overwhelmed can cause you to have mood swings and emotional turbulence. You might find yourself experiencing sudden and intense changes in the mood that you have, fluctuating between feeling stressed or overwhelmed and feeling hopeless or defeated. Now, this type of emotional volatility is a clear indicator of the mental toll that being overwhelmed can take. Now, physical feeling, when you're feeling overwhelmed physically, those effects significantly impact your health and your well-being. And one of the primary effects is fatigue and sleep disturbances. The chronic fatigue associated with feeling overwhelmed can lead to difficulties in both falling asleep and staying asleep. This results in people having daytime drowsiness and can impair their cognitive functioning. It'll affect your ability to concentrate and perform tasks effectively. Muscle tension and headaches are also common physical responses to the constant stress and mental pressure that come with feeling overwhelmed. Now, this tension often manifests as various aches and pains that you can feel, right? Including, like I said, frequent headaches, which can, for many people, turn into migraines, which can be debilitating. Other issues you might physically deal with are digestive issues. That's another effect of being overwhelmed. Stress and anxiety can disrupt your normal digestive function, leading to symptoms like constipation, diarrhea, or other gastrointestinal problems. Now, these issues can be uncomfortable and disruptive to anyone's daily life. Chronic stress and anxiety can impair the immune system. When overwhelmed, your body's ability to even fight off illnesses is weakened, making you more susceptible to infections and diseases. And this lowered immune response further underscores the importance of your ability to manage stress in your life, and reasons why I'm putting this information out there for all of you, so you can actually seek ways to reduce the feelings of being overwhelmed. And then lastly, the emotional effects of feeling overwhelmed can significantly impact your mental health and your overall quality of life. One such negative effect is the loss of joy and motivation. Overwhelm can sap your energy and diminish your ability to find pleasure and satisfaction in activities that you previously enjoyed. Now, this often leads to people feeling like disconnected and a lack of motivation in the willingness to engage in these activities. Feelings of hopelessness and despair are also heightened when you're overwhelmed. And the relentless cycle of stress and anxiety can make it challenging to envision a positive outcome or any way out of the situation. And this can lead to a sense of being trapped and a pervasive feeling of despair. And, again, moreover, there's an increased risk for people who are feeling overwhelmed of developing depression when they're there in that state. The ongoing stress combined with negative and stressful mindset can contribute to a persistent low mood. And this state is often accompanied by a loss of interest in previously enjoyable activities, feelings of worthlessness, which are characteristic symptoms of depression. And any prolonged state of overwhelm can therefore act as a catalyst, increasing the likelihood of depression, or even worse. So, what are some of the ways that you can stop feeling overwhelmed? Well, in this part, I just want to share with you some of the, at least 10 ways that I know that you can stop feeling overwhelmed. Now, fortunately, there are effective strategies to help you regain control and prevent overwhelm from taking over. And I'll just give you these tips to help you to stop getting overwhelmed. Number one, prioritize and simplify. Prioritize and simplify. Now, one of the primary causes of overwhelm is having too much on your plate. Now, to combat this, you want to take a step back and assess your priorities. Identify the most important tasks and obligations and focus on those first. You have to learn to start saying no to additional commitments that aren't essential and can be delegated to others. Just by simplifying your workload and focusing on what truly matters, you can reduce overwhelm significantly. Number two, break tasks into manageable chunks. I've shared in a different episode, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. So just like anything, right? You want to take your tasks, the large tasks, that can be intimidating, overwhelming, and instead of trying to tackle them all at once, break them down into smaller, more manageable chunks. Create a step-by-step plan to set specific achievable goals for each phase. And by dividing tasks into smaller parts, you'll find it easier to stay focused and make progress. Ultimately, reducing the feelings of being overwhelmed. Number three, practice effective time management. Now, proper time management is crucial for preventing overwhelm. Start by setting realistic deadlines for your tasks and projects. Use a calendar or a planner to schedule your activities and allocate time for breaks and relaxation. Avoid multitasking wherever you can, as it can lead to decreased productivity and increased stress. Instead, just focus on one task at a time and give it your full attention. And by managing time effectively, you can create a sense of control and minimize overwhelm. Number four, take regular breaks when overwhelmed. If you find yourself taking a step, overwhelmed, take a step back, right? Allowing yourself time to recharge is essential. Engage in activities that help you relax and clear your mind, whether it's going for a walk, practicing mindfulness or meditation. I like to do hot yoga, right? Or pursuing a hobby. Find what works best for you. But taking breaks allows you to regain your perspective, reduce stress levels, and return to your tasks with renewed energy and focus. Number five, seek support and delegate wherever you can. Don't hesitate to ask for help when you need it. And even if you don't think you need it, don't hesitate to ask for help. Reach out to your friends, a family member, or colleagues for support or assistance with tasks. Delegating responsibilities can help lighten your load and prevent overwhelm. And you want to trust others to take on certain tasks and be willing to let go of the need for complete control. Remember, you don't have to do everything alone. Now, in addition to those tips mentioned above, right, that I've shared with you, there are a few more strategies you can employ to stop getting overwhelmed. So let's explore some of these additional techniques that can further support you in managing stress and finding a balance in your life, if that's what's important to you. Number six, practice self-care. Now, self-care is essential for maintaining your overall well-being and preventing overwhelm. Engage in activities that promote relaxation, self-nurturing, and this can include anything from taking a warm bath to reading a book or indulging in a hobby like you enjoy. But you want to prioritize self-care as a non-negotiable part of your routine. You'll find that it helps you to recharge and face challenges with a clearer mind. Number seven, develop healthy boundaries. Setting boundaries is crucial to prevent overwhelm. Learn to say no. Learn to say no to tasks or commitments that don't align with your priorities or values. Understand your limits and communicate them effectively to others. Respect your personal time and protect it from unnecessary intrusions. By establishing healthy boundaries, you'll create a space for yourself and reduce the likelihood of feeling overwhelmed. Number eight, practice mindfulness. Incorporating mindfulness into your daily life can significantly help in managing overwhelm. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. By practicing mindfulness, you can increase your self-awareness and develop the ability to observe your thoughts, and emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. Deep breathing exercises, meditation, or journaling can also be beneficial in calming your mind and reducing stress. Number 9, celebrate small wins. You want to learn how to acknowledge it and celebrate your achievements, no matter how small they may seem. Oftentimes overwhelm arises from a sense of never-ending tasks and a lack of recognition for any progress that you've made. By celebrating even the smallest victories, you can cultivate a positive mindset and motivation to keep you moving forward. And number 10, seek professional help if you need it. And even if you don't think you need it, seek professional help. There are people like myself included who are available, right? If negative feelings of overwhelm persist in your life or they become overwhelming to the point where they interfere with your daily functioning, it's important to seek professional help. Mental health professionals can provide guidance and support tailored to your specific needs. Coaches can help hold you accountable for taking those actions. These professionals are out here and they can help you develop the coping strategies like I'm sharing with all of you right now to address underlying issues and to provide you with the necessary tools to manage overwhelm effectively. And I want you to remember, everyone experiences moments of overwhelm, but it's how you respond to them that makes a difference. And by just implementing these additional strategies and finding what works best for you, you can reclaim control over your life and navigate through the overwhelming situations with resilience and confidence. And there's no better place to begin is if you're an adult out there in the workplace, right? You want to start using these tools and the things I'm about to share with you. These are ways, that you can help to get organized when you're at work, when you start to feel overwhelmed at work. Feeling overwhelmed at work can be a common and frustrating experience. But there are steps that I said you can take to regain control and improve your productivity. And, so here are some of the strategies that I share with my clients that, help them to get organized at work when they're feeling overwhelmed. And the first thing I share with them is identify and address the stressors that you're having. Take some time to reflect on the sources of your overwhelm. Is it due to an excessive workload or unrealistic guidelines or deadlines or lack of clear priorities that have been placed on you? Once you've identified the stressors, right, then you can start to develop strategies for addressing them. And you might need to talk to your manager about workload adjustments, negotiate deadlines, or seek clarification on expectations. I'm so proud of my client this week. She went into her manager's office and got everything she wanted inside the communications that she needed to have. Reducing her work requirement, having, less work, same pay. Number 2, create a to-do list and prioritize tasks. Break down your workload into smaller manageable tasks, like I shared, and create a comprehensive to-do list. The world wasn't created in a day. It's not going to get solved in one day. So you want to prioritize the tasks based on their importance and their urgency, using a system like the 0 to 10 rule or, Eisenhower matrix or ABCDE method. Focus on completing the most critical tasks first and avoid multitasking. And if you don't know what some of those strategies are, look them up. You can Google them. They're there. The information is available to you. Or you can hire a coach like me, and I'll teach you everything I know about all of the methodologies which can lead you to being able to deal with overwhelm. Number 3, schedule your tasks and time block. Allocating specific time slots in your calendar for each task will ensure that you have enough time to complete them without feeling rushed. You want to use time blocking techniques such as the Pomodoro technique to work in focus intervals followed by short breaks. It's just one example. Number 4, eliminate distractions and minimize interruptions. I did an entire podcast episode on how to eliminate the distractions and create a workplace, an environment for productivity, right? So, listen to those episodes and it'll help you, right? To minimize the distractions in your workspace. But some of the ways you can do that, simple ways are closing unnecessary tabs or applications on your computer, silencing notifications, and finding a quiet place to work. Another thing you want to do is, let your colleagues know you need time to focus and set boundaries to avoid them interrupting you or having interruptions. Number 5, delegate and seek help when needed. Don't hesitate to delegate tasks to colleagues or seek assistance when needed. Delegating can free up your time for more critical tasks, and asking for help demonstrates a willingness to learn and collaborate. You want to look at this, when you delegate, not like, you're, adding more to other people's plate, but create it as an opportunity for them that they get to, begin to support what you're up to. And they, if you really create with them that this is a way that you're looking to, eliminate the overwhelm that you're faced with, most of the people around you will be ready to help you and collaborate. Number 6, utilize productivity tools and apps. You can find all these things in the App Store, Google, right? You want to leverage productivity tools and apps to streamline your workflow. Consider using task management apps or project management software or cloud-based storage solutions to organize your tasks, your files, and communications. Just simple things, right? Number 7, take regular breaks and practice self-care. I already shared what that looks like, but, scheduling regular breaks throughout the day to step away from work and recharge. Take short walks, stretch, engage in mindful breathing exercises, or do something you enjoy to refresh your mind and boost your energy levels. Number 8, communicate effectively and set expectations. When you communicate effectively with your, supervisors, your boss, your leaders, your managers, colleagues, and clients about your progress and any challenges you're facing, you want to set realistic expectations and keep your team informed to avoid misunderstandings and maintain a positive work environment. Number 9, evaluate and adapt your strategies. Regularly evaluate these strategies that I'm talking about and make adjustments as needed. You want to reflect on what's working well and what's not working well and identify areas for improvement. And don't be afraid to experiment with different approaches until you find a system that suits your work style and preferences. And number 10, seek professional support if needed. If you're struggling to manage overwhelm and it's affecting your overall well-being, you want to consider seeking professional support from a therapist or counselor or coach. These are people like myself that can provide guidance and strategies for managing stress, improving your time management, and enhancing your overall well-being. And again, biggest thing, it's going to help you prevent from getting overwhelmed again. So, as I wrap up this broadcast, to avoid feeling overwhelmed, it's important that you implement these strategies. And like I said, you want to start by identifying your stressors, whether they stem from your work, your personal life, or a combination of both. Understanding what triggers your overwhelm is the first step in managing it. And then you want to focus on prioritizing and delegating your tasks, making a list and arranging them based on importance and urgency. And for tasks that are less critical, consider delegating them or postponing them to free up time for more important matters. Now, this approach helps in managing your workload more effectively. And like I've shared, you want to incorporate regular breaks into your schedule is also crucial. These breaks are a chance to step away and recharge. Exercise, meditation, spending time in nature, they can all be particularly effective in helping you relax and de-stress. So as I conclude this episode, I thank you for letting me contribute to you in this way. I know that this is one of the areas that people struggle with daily. And so again, I wanted this episode to be just the beginning of ways that you can effectively deal with the overwhelm and create a life where overwhelm is managed and eliminated. So if you like this episode, please do subscribe, share, comment. We need your help always to, take our message to the next level. And so I could definitely want you to, share this information with others. You can find us on all of their podcast stations, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, and wherever you like listening to your podcast. And, like and subscribe to us on YouTube. I enjoy making a difference in the lives of others. It's the purpose for my life. And again, by sharing this information with all of you, I hope that it's made a difference and it's been worth your time. And as you continue to look for ways, to improve your life, come back each and every week. We'll be here. Feel free to jump in with us. You can reach us on Instagram at iCoachYouPlay. Or you can send us an email, iCoachYouPlay, the letter U, play, number 1 at gmail.com, and share whatever questions you have, or if there's topics you want us to share, or things that you're dealing with you would like for us to take on in further episodes. I'm more than open to doing that. So thank you again for being here, and as always, I want you to win and go win the games that you play.